Before we begin our for tonight's town business, I'd like to read a brief statement in response to the board's actions last evening. First of all, I'd like to apologize to everyone who has been hurt by recent disclosures, specifically the Newsatz family, people of Greece, the Greece Police Department, and to those closest to me. I had no connection whatsoever to Monica Newsatz's death, nor had any useful information concerning her death. Notwithstanding, upon request, I voluntarily met with the District Attorney's Office and the Greece Police Department. This is a personal matter, and I am continuing to fulfill the duties I was elected to perform, and I intend to continue to serve as supervisor of the town of Greece. I have no plans to resign. Therefore, I will decline further comment on this issue until the town board concludes its review. Thank you. We have no proclamations, additions, or deletions to the agenda. We will now have the public forum portion of our meeting. We have a 6:30 p.m. Public hearing scheduled. This is an opportunity for residents of the town of Greece to address the Greece Town Board on issues and concerns relative to the town of Greece. There'll be a 3-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session, but an opportunity for you to express your views. Keeping in mind our civility policy, which maintains decorum for meetings of public boards. Anyone care to address the board this evening? Sure.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the town board. My name is Jeremy Carter. I'm the president of Northgate Neighbors, local organization, community, and of course a resident of the Duluth Corridor. And I would like to say just a couple words encouraging a specific action on redistricting. The Dewey Avenue Corridor has been identified as a rather unique and different area of Greece. It's the only highest population density. Currently, the district is divided in half, and you could say, well, we have 2 voices in the council, but they are also distracted by people 9 miles away along the lake shore and almost the same distance away along the Route 104 corridor. It is our opinion on the board of directors of the Northgate Neighbors that we would be much better served by a single voice that represented all residents of the corridor, as would the folks along the lake shore if that was to be another district that would have a single voice, as would the 104 corridor have a single voice, and the remaining residential area of Greece. All those folks are sharing common cohesive needs and desires, and we just feel that it would be much more appropriate to have a representative that could focus on their issues. So definitely urge the board to consider in the redistricting effort trying to pull those areas together to get best representation possible. And if this is going to be too difficult to do with your own resources, we encourage you to use an external, nonpartisan organization to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Anyone else care to address the board?
I'm Dave Garrison. I live in Greece on Wildwood Drive. I am the leader of the Greece Democratic Party. I'm going to address this week's events, but before I do, I want to take a minute to discuss a long-term concern, the same thing that Jeremy Carter just discussed, redistricting. Next month, this board is going to redraw the boundary lines for our wards. We are the only town in Monroe County to elect by ward rather than at large. And the area in which I live, the Dewey Avenue Corridor, is currently divided between 2 wards. Over the past year, we've heard several experts tell us that this section of town requires extraordinary focused attention. 2 of those experts are on your panel this evening, the Chief of Police and the Director of Development Services. I urge the town board to redraw the ward boundaries to give the Dewey Avenue corridor what it deserves, its own dedicated representative on town board. And Shannon O'Keefe, who currently represents that area, we who live in that area, we call on you to stand with us. And Andrew Conlon, you represent us now, we also count on you to stand with us. Now then, yesterday this board okayed hiring of a special counsel. Since then, I've heard skeptics say, it's a waste of money, it's a cover-up, it's a stall. Well, maybe so. But I, for one, am willing to give you folks the benefit of the doubt for 4 weeks. The voters of this town have had enough. And in 4 weeks, we expect you to produce. We've had enough. We've had enough of scandal. We've had enough of costly investigations. We've had enough of CYA. We've had enough of backroom secret deals. We've had enough of the supervisor's inappropriate conduct, which once again tarnishes our police department. 4 weeks from today, on April 12th, this report, which you ordered yesterday from your special counsel, will be in your hands. We, the voters, will be here in 4 weeks. The voters expect to see the report, and we expect to see the report in its entirety, and we expect the report to be a genuine investigation, not a whitewash, not window dressing, not a cover-up, not CYA. We've already seen that. That's not what we want this time. Town Board, this was your report, and we expect you to stand behind it, and we expect you to make it a genuine investigation of the situation. We expect your council to conduct a genuine investigation, and once you have this report, we expect you to take a stand. And I mean you, Councilman Kurt Morse. I mean you, Andrew Conlon. You, Bob Bilski. You, Shannon O'Keefe. It's time to stop standing behind the skirts of the supervisor. There is no more time for you to hide in the shadows. This board continually sits and rubber stamps whatever comes down the road. No more. We want you to take responsibility. We want you to take responsibility for the poor state of affairs we now have in this town. 4 weeks from today, you will have this report. 4 weeks from today, we the voters will be here. And 4 weeks from today, we expect you, each of you on town board, to take a stand and tell us, do you support the supervisor or do you not? We will be here in 4 weeks to hear your answer. Thank you.
Anyone else for the address the board?
Good evening. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Kurt Rosso. I live on Stone Fence Road in the southern part of Greece.
Welcome back, Mr. Rosso.
Thank you. I'm here tonight to ask you to do something different than the two speakers before me asked you to do. I want you to pass a resolution at your next meeting in April to place 2 referendums on the ballot during the next local election this fall. The first referendum would allow voters in Greece to indicate whether they would like to see Greece abolish its ward system in favor of 4 council seats being elected by all of those who vote in the community. The second referendum would give voters the ability to decide whether they would prefer to vote once again every 2 years for those candidates who want to become town supervisor. The 2 referendums would, if approved, give voters in this community the opportunity to exert more influence on those who make decisions that directly affect them. In asking you to do this, I think voters in Greece would like to have as much opportunity in the selection of those who represent them as voters in each and every other town in Monroe County. I believe that most voters in this town would prefer to select all 5 individuals on the town board every 2 years. Given the choice, I'm convinced that most people here will no longer want to be limited to voting for only 2 positions on a 5-member board. I'm equally certain that most will also want to vote for their chief elected official more frequently than every 4 years. Finally, I'd like to make it clear to all those who are listening that this new way to determine elected officials in the future will not take effect for another 2.5 years. In 2013, as far as the election is concerned, for terms of office that would begin in 2014, provided, of course, that these 2 referendums are placed before the public in November, provided they are approved by a majority of those who vote at that time. In closing, I want to remind you that the ideas for change I'm expressing tonight are not new. These thoughts were set forth more than a 1.5 years ago in an editorial in the Greece Post. Thank you for attention. Now, please proceed with this matter in a timely fashion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ross.